Bali volcano eruption, latest updates as Mount Agung erupts and spews volcanic ash cloud. Bali's highest volcano Mount Agung appears on the brink of a violent eruption as it spews cold lava and sends a dark ash cloud into the sky. Here are live updates and the latest news. Here are the latest updates from the National Disaster Management Agency, BNPB, Magma Indonesia, the Volcanology and Geological Disaster Mitigation Agency, PVMBG, and other official sources. All times GMT. 6 p.m., significant volume of magma pools to surface. Heat signatures picked up by NASA satellites are pointing towards vast amounts of magma pooling around Mount Agung's summit. Magma Indonesia tweeted, "Tonight, for the first time a thermal anomaly was detected in the crater of Mount Agung by NASA MODIS satellite, about 70 megawatts of power, source, miroveb.it. This indicates that a significant volume of magma had been on the surface." 4:50 p.m., 59,000 travelers stranded on Bali as Agung erupts. Nearly 60,000 holidaymakers who hoped to blissfully spend their time on the paradise island have instead found themselves in travel hell. More than 400 flights from Bali's international airport have been cancelled, with stranded tourists unable to get back home. Airport spokesman Arasan Nurahim confirmed that at least 59,000 travelers have been affected by the disruption. 4:30 p.m., Sebastian Ketley takes over live reporting. 4:10 p.m., lahars could impact those outside Agung's danger zone, expert warns. Dangerous mudflows, known as lahars, have been seen pouring down Mount Agung but could travel a long way from the volcano. Professor Joachim Gottsman, head of volcanology at Bristol University, told express.co.uk, lahars can perhaps be best described as being similar to very wet concrete. He said they are devastating because they are fast-moving and erosive due to their volcanic debris load. They can also travel very far. Examples in the Andes report a 400 kilometers run-out distance from the source. Hence populations along rivers which are usually fed from water from a volcano are at risk from lahars even if they are well outside an immediate exclusion zone. 2:23 p.m., Bali volcano death toll will be much lower than 1963. Modern volcano monitoring techniques will help keep the Mount Agung death toll far below the volcano's last eruption nearly 55 years ago, when more than 1,000 people were killed. Professor Mike Burton, who chairs the volcanology department at the University of Manchester, said, "The probability of a large number deaths and injuries is much lower now than it was in 1963. As modern volcano monitoring techniques have improved. There is much better awareness of the hazards posed by explosive eruptions and, most importantly, local populations are better informed, with clearer communication links. Therefore, planning for a scenario similar to the 1963 eruption with pyroclastic flow run at up to 12 kilometers from the summit is prudent, with a good probability that the actual eruption will be smaller than that." 12:56 p.m., next Mount Agung erupt could be even bigger. The BNPB has warned that Mount Agung could explode more violently in the coming days and weeks. Spokesman Sutopo Purwonugroho said, "There is a high possibility of an eruption that would be bigger than before. A few signs indicate that activity will continue and that yesterday there were a few explosive eruptions." 11:55 am, Mount Agung could produce pyroclastic flows. Professor David Rothery, a volcanologist at the Open University, has warned that gas trapped within Mount Agung could cause a huge explosion and pyroclastic flows. Speaking to Sky News, he said, "It's a matter of whether that gas can escape passively, just by bubbling through the magma and cracks in the volcano, or whether it builds up to such a volume of gas that it blows out explosively and drives a very high column of fragmented ash into the sky. A big heavy column being driven upwards can then collapse down and produce these horrible pyroclastic flows which sweep across the terrain. 9:10 am. Some Bali locals refusing to evacuate. Sutopo Purwonugroho, a spokesman for Bali's disaster management agency, BNPB, has said that some Bali residents living within Mount Agung's danger zone are refusing to evacuate the area. He said, some people within a radius of 8 to 10 kilometers from the summit crater of Mount Agung have not been displaced. They feel safe because the area was not damaged during the 1963 eruption. They will evacuate if it is dangerous. About 1,600 people were killed when Mount Agung last erupted in 1963. 8:50 am. UK government updates Bali travel advice. The British government has urged nationals in Bali to heed the advice of authorities as Mount Agung's volcanic activity could escalate at any time. Ash clouds have caused airport closure for periods in both Bali and Lombok and disruption to flights in the region, the government's travel advice webpage said. The authorities are monitoring the situation closely and airports in the region are likely to continue to be closed for periods of time. You should confirm your travel arrangements directly with your airline or travel agent before traveling to the airport. You should monitor local media reports, follow the advice of the local authorities and stay outside the existing exclusion zone, which extends between 8 and 10 kilometers from the crater. Volcanic activity may escalate. Volcanic ash clouds could continue to cause flight disruption and may result in further airport closures in the region. 8:55 am. Bali government pledges emergency response fund following Agung eruption. Bali's governor Mangku Pastika has confirmed that additional funding will be made available to Mount Agung refugees if necessary, Antara News report. He made the announcement while visiting a volcano monitoring post in Rendang village this morning, but did not specify how much cash would be distributed. 7:18 am. Bali residents warned of lahar threat. Balinese locals in the areas surrounding Mount Agung have been told to stay away from rivers as lahars have started plowing down the mountain. Lahars, sometimes known as cold lava flows, are powerful mud flows comprised of rocks, volcanic debris, vegetation and even parts of buildings. Lahars were seen flowing down the Yasar River in Karangasem. According to Coconuts Bali, and farmland in the area has already reportedly been damaged by the mud. The ash released by Mount Agung was hit by rainwater and has now become mud in the Yasar River, a police official said this morning. Meanwhile, Duwamar Tyasa, who monitors Mount Agung from Rendang village, said, "You could say it's lahar because there is a smell of sulfur." 5:15 am. Bali danger zone extended by authorities as 100,000 residents urged to evacuate. Indonesia's disaster mitigation agency said 40,000 people had been evacuated from near Bali's erupting Mount Agung volcano, but tens of thousands still needed to move with an imminent large eruption warning issued on Monday. Sutopo, a spokesman for the agency, said that 40,000 people had evacuated out of around 90,000 to 100,000 residents estimated in the 8 to 10 kilometers, 5-6 miles, exclusion zone around Agung. 4:45 am. Bali airport closure could last more than 24 hours. Bali governor says airport closure could extend beyond 24 hours amid Mount Agung volcanic eruption. So far the closure has disrupted 445 flights and about 59,000 passengers as flights have been cancelled by major airlines. 3 a.m., Mount Agung is spewing plumes of smoke. Potential for larger eruption is imminent. The BNPB said, plumes of smoke are occasionally accompanied by explosive eruptions and the sound of weak blasts that can be heard up to 12 kilometers, 7 miles, from the peak. The potential for a larger eruption is imminent. 12:30 am, Bali airport closed and another airline cancels all flights to and from the holiday hotspot. Bali airport has been closed and another major airline has announced it has cancelled flights to the popular tourist spot. Qantas budget airline Jetstar announced all flights to and from Bali on Monday had been cancelled. Jetstar in a statement said, flying conditions in Bali have worsened this morning due to the ash cloud from the Mount Agung volcano. As a result, all our flights in and out of Bali for Monday, 27th of November have been cancelled. The airline added that customers on cancelled flights would be contacted and advised how to rebook. 12:05 am, Indonesia raises alert to highest level 4. Indonesia's disaster management agency said it has raised the alert to the highest possible level 4 on Bali's Mount Agung volcano. The agency said, grey ash and occasional weak blasts can be heard 12 kilometers, 7 miles, from the peak. Flames were visible at night, which indicates a potential eruption could happen anytime. In anticipation of the possibility and imminent risk of disaster, PVMBG, the Volcanology and Geological Disaster Mitigation Center, raised Mount Agung alert level from 3 to 4 starting from 6 a.m. local time. Sunday, November 26. 10:40 p.m., magmatic eruption. Officials have said the current activity of Mount Agung could a magmatic eruption which involves the decompression of gas and results in the spewing of ash, and advised people near the mountain to wear masks. 9:50 p.m., Mount Agung is reportedly still spewing out smoke, according to an eyewitness report. One holidaymaker on the island wrote on Twitter, "Dawn is breaking over Mount Agung in Bali. I've been coughing all night from the volcanic ash I've inhaled. The volcano is still spewing out smoke." 8 p.m., more flights cancelled. Authorities at Ngurah International Airport said that 45 flights were cancelled Sunday by Cathay Pacific Airways, Jetstar, AirAsia, and Garuda Indonesia, affecting more than 5,500 passengers. On Saturday, 14 flights were cancelled, affecting some 2,350 passengers. 5:41 p.m., fears grow over serious eruption. Fears grow there could be a serious volcanic eruption on Bali. Disaster officials said up to half a centimeter thick settled on villages around the volcano and soldiers and police had distributed masks. Authorities warned anyone still in the exclusion zone around the volcano, which extends 7.5 kilometers from the crater in places, to leave. 5:30 p.m. John Rogers taking over reporting. AirAsia is the latest airline to cancel all flights to Bali as Mount Agung volcano continues to spew out volcanic ash. 1:52 p.m., ash cloud drifts over Lombok. Australia's Bureau of Meteorology's Volcanic Ash Advisory Centre, VACC, in Darwin issued maps showing an ash cloud heading southeast over the neighbouring island of Lombok, away from Bali's capital, Denpasar, where the main international airport is located. 1:48 p.m., Lombok Island's airport remains closed. Ash clouds have forced the closure of Lombok Island's airport until at least 6 a.m. local time on Monday. 1:30 p.m., ash column soars 3,000 meters into the sky. BNPB Indonesia said the ash column is stretching 3,000 meters into the sky and leaning east-east from the summit. 12:30 p.m., Red smoke and lava coming out of crater. Fiery red smoke was pictured pouring out of Bali volcano at 11 p.m. local time on Friday. BNPP spokesman Sutopo Purwonugroho shared the image and said that lava was now coming out of the crater of Mount Agung. He added, "Since last night the type of eruption is magmatic that continues until now." 12:20 p.m., passengers left waiting at Bali airport. From an airport in Bali, student Chelsea Vandeven said that many stranded travelers cannot afford new accommodation or flights. So they just have to wait it out and see what airlines can do for them, she told Sky News. Latest images, Bali volcano pictures. 11:10 am, danger of strong, explosive eruption. PVMBG official Jeed Suantika said, "The activity of Mount Agung has entered the magmatic eruption phase. It is still spewing ash at the moment, but we need to monitor and be cautious over the possibility of a strong, explosive eruption." 10 am, plume stretches 4,000 meters into sky. The thick plume of smoke and ash has reached 4,000 meters, 13,100 feet, according to the BBC. 9:40 am, aviation warning raised to red. Indonesia has upgraded its volcano observatory notice for aviation, VONA, to red, its highest warning, and said the ash cloud top could reach 19,654 feet, 6,142 meters, above sea level or higher. The VONA said the ash cloud was moving to east-southeast and seismic activity was characterized by low-frequency earthquakes. The red warning means that an eruption is imminent or underway with significant emission of ash into the atmosphere. 9:37 am, airports stay open for now despite eruption. Officials said the airport would remain open for now as the ash could be avoided. The volcanic ash has only been detected in a certain area, the airport and other officials said in a joint statement. All domestic flights and the airport itself were operating as normal and tests for ash had been negative, it said. 9:35 am, uncontrollable force of nature unfolds. Photographer Emilio Cosmofloyd, who lives in Bali, shared incredible footage of Mount Agung erupting as the sun rose over Bali this morning. He tweeted, "As it happens, Mount Agung erupting at sunrise with Mount Batur in the foreground. Can't describe the feeling of seeing such an uncontrollable force of nature unfolding."